Hey guys, welcome back to Choosing Recovery. I'm Olivia.
And I'm Scotty, and today we have...
I'm an alcoholic and an addict. My name's Paul.
What's up, Paul?
Hey Paul, we're glad to have you on the show today. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, man. What a great and blessed day. We're going to get started right into the interview, okay?
Awesome. So what was your drug or drugs of choice if you had multiple, and at what age did you start using?
So my drugs of choice were everything and anything and yours and free and more.
It's a great answer.
Been there,
I
done
relate.
I
that.
started using probably when I was 14.
When you were 14? So
Yeah.
we have done many of these videos so far, and it blows my
lot of
mind at the
people.
starting age that most people say is between the ages of 12 and like 15, you know. And there is a study out there that say that the starting date for people that start to pick up and
13.
start to experiment is 13 years old. So
It was probably about 13 for me too. I was in middle school, so
in
8th grade. So yeah, it was probably 13 actually.
And that's crazy. You think that them knowing that they would at least have some kind of
education,
prevention against
better
it.
education.
You know, and he always laughs about the DARE program, right? Because he's like, it just showed me what I wanted to do. With the drunk goggles, he's like, how can I get that way again? You know, like, it was fun for him. You know, there wasn't really any, like, it's like, just say no. What the hell is that going to do for us? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, how long have you used for?
So I have used off and on since I was 13 till I was, I'm now 42, so been clean for 4 years now.
Good job, man.
And no, it's like 30 something. 38? Was that 38? That's I got that for you.
Yeah, but time definitely slips away.
I was 38 when I got clean and sober this time around.
Well, we're grateful to have you here, man. A lot of people don't make it that long, and you know, it shows people out there that have been doing it that long. Though it's you can get clean, you can get sober. It doesn't matter where you're at. You know, that's why we, you know what I mean. I always say everyone has the same story, or same message, just a different story, and it just explains like, dude, we all have a problem, and
We can move past it.
yeah.
Yeah. So, who did your addiction affect?
My addiction affected everybody around me. I mean, I was a tornado or hurricane, whatever, you know. I was a disaster in everybody's lives that I touched.
What led you to get clean?
So, the first time I got clean was back in 2003. And I remember my clean date was August 8th of 2003. And I stayed clean and sober for 5 years then.
Wow.
So what happened then, you know, I was still lying. I was still dishonest. I was not working the program. I was just working steps 1, 2, and 3. And I remember the first meeting I ever went to, I raised my hand and, you know, I said, I'm an alcoholic. Or I didn't even say I was an alcoholic. I said, my name's Paul and I don't know how to stop drinking. And, you know, I was living on the streets at that time. I went into the rooms with just the clothes on my back.
So
And
what?
they took me in, and this old timer took me in. He had like 23, 25 years or something. I just remember it was an astronomical amount of time, and took me in, and I asked him if he'd be my temporary sponsor. And he said, well, do you want to stay temporary sober? And I said,
I love that, man.
That's good.
Listen, and
Catch
that's
you right off guard.
yeah, and that's the miracle of the program, man, because it blows my mind when people say they have bad experiences and only bad experiences with a program, and because it shouldn't be like that, because of how much that the NA or AA program has changed my life. It saved my life, point blank. You know, and working a 12-step program every single day, instilling that in my life, it's what helped me learn how to be me again. You know,
And like just the, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
You're
off.
fine.
like just the stigma against people in recovery, right? And the world against the stigma's world against the people in recovery. And then I think with like right now we're seeing a lot of people that are finding their own program, right? And that the 12 steps, they've walked into the meetings and they're like, oh no, you can't be here, or that's not my definition of recovery, right? So I think that's another stigma we have to break, you know, is that welcoming everybody to find their own. And a lot of people have had hard experiences with the 12 steps, you know, and we want to be able to enlighten that and inspire people and show people that you are capable of your own recovery and just being able to find that, you know.
Hence choosing recovery, you know. That's why that's our name, you know. You choose how you're going to be clean, whatever works for you, as long as it works for you.
And we support that because we have our own recovery, but that doesn't mean that it's going to work for everybody. You know, we want people to know that.
Right.
I'm just glad you got and I'm just glad you got to experience that feeling of a program taking you in with open arms. You know, it's you can barely know them, and it feels like they're your family.
And the sponsors, I mean, come on. My sponsor said some things to me, and it just blew my mind. You know, like in that mindset, in that time, you're like, oh, it makes sense, you know. And then your sponsor's like, twist it around. You're like, oh, wait a second, that's reality, right? So, how are you staying clean today?
By working the steps, working with sponsees. I do work a 12-step program. I reach out to people that I in addiction and do my best to my ability every day to help another addict, another alcoholic. It doesn't matter what, another person really, because it doesn't matter who. You know,
that's right.
It could just be somebody who just needs a little talking to, or like I live out in the middle of nowhere, right? And I'm just going to tell you a story. This was New Year's Day. I'm getting ready to go to work, and there's this lady at my back door, and she just jumped out of a car, and she runs up to my house, and she forces her way into my laundry room. And, you know, I'm just like looking up, and this is like when I first started my recovery again, because I had 3 years, and I didn't, you know, I wasn't working any type of program. I was miserable. I was ready to kill myself, not use, but kill myself.
Wow.
And, you know, it's only because of TikTok, really, you know, a stupid app called TikTok.
Yeah, I know, man.
Got me back into recovery, you know.
It's amazing.
And, you know, got me to really take a look at myself and really take a look at what, you know, I was doing with my life. And this lady who showed up at my back door, you know, I brought her into the hospital, and, you know, apparently her boyfriend was beating the crap out of her for a while, and came and arrested him, and, you know, and she wasn't an addict that I know of, you know, she just was a person.
Wow.
And, you know, that's what I believe is what the program tells me, is to help others at all times. It doesn't matter who.
In order to keep it, you got to give it away.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
That is.
So what is your biggest accomplishment within your recovery so far?
So far, I would say a spiritual awakening as a result to these steps that I've taken, you know, because I have had that spiritual awakening, and I can tell you right now that there's probably going to be more spiritual awakenings within this journey, and I'm okay with that. But because of TikTok, that's what got me back into recovery. I'm going to probably talk about TikTok a lot.
Good.
I saw this lady on somebody's live, I think it was B Magic's live, and she was saying, I don't know how to stop drinking, and I'm diabetic, so automatically, you know, my brain's like, go into her DMs and start messaging her, and I don't know how she's doing now, but, you know, that's what started this whole ball rolling, was reaching out to another alcoholic, another addict. And that's what, you know, I was taught long ago that it's all about.
Yeah, there's definitely something about community, and we were utterly shocked when we realized that TikTok had a whole recovery community.
Thought it was for kids.
And
Those for kids
it
or
was
something.
incredible to see all the love, and I think that's like what I hear a lot of you saying, like with the community and everything. It's love, you know, reaching out to people. That's love. That's bringing love into the world and saying, hey, you know, I know you're having a hard time. I'm here for you at your lowest. And I just think that's incredible.
And we recommend it to anybody out there that's in their early recovery, or even that have been clean or and sober for a long time. Just try learning the true definition of what it means to give back, you know, whether it's opening a door for somebody, you know, waving, saying hello. That can change somebody's day more than you can ever imagine, you know. And it also will make you feel, I'm not going to say like a better person, because I'm not saying you're a bad person, but it does show you humility and how to be humble, and, you know, how to be forgiving later on. You know, it can change so many definitions of what you thought were actually quite wrong. So, you know, we need more people like you, Paul.
And I love that you, I just want to touch on this because I think it's very important. When you spoke about being so miserable and suicidal, you know, and the program and the connection is what brought you back, I think that's incredible. Because I remember feeling that way, like in my early recovery too, of being suicidal, and I didn't know that there was people that didn't know me that loved me. And I think it's incredible. I went to Rhode Island once, I'll be quick. But I walked into the rooms, you know, and they were like, oh, hey, Olivia from New York. And I got people's numbers, and we stay in touch. And I just think that's so cool that that's what the community brings you, right? It's definitely just reach out, right? Reach out.
It is.
So knowing what you know now, would you change anything?
Absolutely not.
I love that
Because
answer.
every life experience that I've done and I've lived through is my life experience, and that can help somebody else along the way.
Wisdom.
I truly feel like that's like the purpose
We love hearing
of,
that.
yeah, it's my favorite answer, man. Because I feel, no,
We feel the same.
really though, because of you being able to help that person that ran into your laundry room that one day, you know what I mean? And maybe you saved that girl's life. You never know. Like, that's where that answer makes me really happy, man, because it's just our life experiences are our life experiences. We can't change our life experiences. So, you know, I love when people are just honest and they're like, yeah, I love what I've become. I love where I'm at now, you know, so.
And being able to share that story with even the girl in the laundry room, that probably just saves somebody else. You know, there might be somebody else that's struggling and watches these videos and they're like, oh my gosh, like, there's strangers that will take me in and will get me the help and get me out of the situation, you know? So it's incredible what sharing our stories can do on so many different levels.
Yep.
So if you could say something to somebody that's still out there actively using, what would you say to them?
There is a solution. You know, there is a new way of life. I'm living it. You know, I came from the rails and jails, and, you know, now I'm in recovery and I'm helping others.
Awesome.
Great answer.
So if you could say something to a family member of a loved one that's still out there actively using, what would you say to the family member?
They have to hit their rock bottom. You can't stop them from hitting their rock bottom. And, you know, I've told this to my parents, and you gotta stop enabling them.
Absolutely.
You know, my brother died from this disease.
Oh, wow.
And my uncle's out there with this disease, and, you know, they were asking me, what should I do? And I'm like, well, I could call him, but if he's not done, he's not done.
Yep.
And, you know, I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
And I started this whole journey when I was 13, 14, because that was my first time in a treatment center, was when I was 14.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I had the knowledge, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to surrender. I wasn't ready to do a damn thing about anything except for what I wanted.
Because it wasn't bad enough yet, you know. Like, it's got to. The day my mom stopped, like, that's the answer. Like, the day my mom stopped enabling me was the day I learned what loneliness and desperation was and things like that, because I didn't have anyone doing anything to help me get high anymore, you know. Even though I manipulated every way to get high with that, like, I needed money for food, you know, clothes, things like that, and it just really separated the reality for my addiction again, and like I'm like, oh shit, this is bad. You know, even though it took me many years after that to get clean and sober, I didn't have that help, and I had to fend on myself. But then because of that, it got that bad enough for me to where I made the decision, not because everyone else wanted me to be clean and sober, but I wanted to be clean and sober, that I finally came to the conclusion that I'm either gonna die, which was a really big reality, you know, many times, or I'm gonna do this thing, you know. So we're running strong right now, and it's truly a blessing.
Yeah, I found God, my kind of God at first, and that was gift of desperation, and I needed it. Like, I remember being that addict, and I was so lost, and I remember feeling so much that I wanted to be clean, and I went to meetings. I didn't listen. I remember a girl sat on the other side of the table, and she said, it gets worse every time you go back out.
100%.
And I didn't listen, but it stuck with me, and that haunted me for years after, because I went back out after that, and it was like, it just got worse, you know, like it was so bad. And I think that's gift of desperation sometimes definitely saves your life. So we're so glad to have you on. We're going to open the floor for you right now to share any experience, strength, and hope. So go ahead.
Whatever you think anyone needs to hear.
I don't really know if I have any experience, strength, and hope that I haven't shared already, you know. Like I said, I came into the rooms desperate and hopeless, and then I got hope, you know, by somebody reaching their hand out to me and saying, keep coming back and don't leave until a miracle happens. But, you know, just recently I was in a meeting and I heard the speaker speaking, and I was getting really closed-minded and really just annoyed, and, you know, somebody told me to stay, you know, stay. So I stayed, and that person then spoke, and that person just totally knocked me completely off of my high horse, you know, by saying that they had hope, that person gave them hope. Because, you know, that's what this is all about, is helping and reaching out to another person. And, you know, if I'm closed-minded and I don't see, you know, that other people are getting help, then, you know, I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
Hey, it makes 100% sense. Makes total sense,
but
man.
anyways, so then I saw this and I've seen this person grow in recovery, and that's amazing to me.
It is.
You know, to watch people grow, to come in with that hopeless state of mind and then watch them grow and become the person that they're supposed to be, the person that my higher power wants them to be. At least for me. I mean, it's my higher power. I call him God. That's as far as I'm going to get into that, because he's my God.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's that simple, right? It's literally that simple. Yep.
We didn't know we didn't know each other in our active addiction. We met each other in our recovery, you know, and to sit next to her and see where she's at now, you know, and we got a wonderful baby boy, man. I totally I get what you mean by watching people seeing the miracle happen, you know. I see it every day, so.
Aww.
So then I text this person in recovery, right? I text her and I'm like, hey, I'm telling her what's going on, and she's like, well, don't leave until the miracle happens. And my selfish thinking sometimes is like, well, I'm the miracle, aren't I? Not the miracle, you know. It's other people around you that are the miracle, you know. And it's like, oh, you know.
That's funny.
That's awesome. It's the truth.
I love it.
And just being able to.
It's all about helping others for me today, and you know, since I agreed to come on here on this podcast, a lot of stuff's happened in my life. My wife didn't know about TikTok, and I became honest with her, and I told her that I had one. And you know, because I started TikTok and this is the truth, you know, I started TikTok for the thirst traps. You know, I'm a mechanic, and I started for the thirst traps, and my addiction tried to attack me in that area of my life, which it will from time to time. And I came clean. I was like, you know, I started this for the thirst traps, and I'm in it for the recovery now. And since then, I have deleted TikTok. I haven't deleted my account, but I've deleted it, and I haven't been on it in like 2 weeks. And you know, I'm just hitting more Zoom meetings. I'm hitting more meetings. There's an awesome NA meeting, you know, that's 24/7.
Awesome.
I'm extremely proud of you, and I think that's incredible to just be so humble and be so freaking honest. Wow, that's amazing. I don't even have words for that. That's amazing, the honesty that you have to just be real. You know, like, this is where I'm at right now, this is what's going on. And then noticing it and then taking a step back from it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's really all about, is not allowing it to consume you or affect any other part of your life, is realizing it at that moment.
Yeah.
Because I've struggled with that before. So I think that's, yeah.
And it's called working a program. That's where you
bingo.
see, you know what I mean? Because I don't sit here and say, oh, I'm working the 11th step, I'm working the 12th step, you know? You can notice those things down throughout, but those things become so natural, you know, when you're learning how to take your own inventory. You're not judging, you're not up for people of their other decisions or their recovery, you know? You're only worried about your recovery. You're worried about helping, giving that message that you learned, though, the experience of the hope message, you know, but absolutely, man. That's called working a program to its fullest.
Awesome.
So
It's called living it, man. Living the dream.
absolutely, man. It's a great dream. It's a reality.
Well, we're so glad to have you on today. Thank you for sharing your experience, strength, and hope, and your story. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us today?
No, I think I should probably be the dad that I am today and go take care of my little toddler.
I love it.
My name is Paul. I'm a grateful recovering addict, and my clean and sober date is 2/4/17. And one thing I'm grateful for the life that God has shown me today. I can name all kinds of things I'm grateful for, but
going.
gratitude is an action word. So how am I showing that gratitude?
Love it. Love it.
That's awesome, Paul. Thanks so much for jumping on with us today.